This is the Weighing In podcast with Rick and Gina. This podcast is a collaboration between Empower Weight Loss and Lifestyle Coaching and Next Step Lifestyle Coaching. In this episode, you will hear us get increasingly amped up as we trade blows about the most irritating headlines related to weight loss and health. In today's world of information overload, the average consumer has to be more savvy, more skeptical than ever before. So, please join us in our exasperation because the most irritating headlines is up next. What are we going to talk about today, Gina?
So today's topic is the most irritating and annoying headlines out there having to do with weight loss, exercise, and just general health. And there are many of them, but so I kind of handpicked three that stick out to me. And yes. I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but we can just kind of bounce off each other. So
yeah, I certainly have three good ones. I will just say though, I think last week when we talked about the hidden calories of everyday foods, we talked about how much fun we had preparing. Yeah. I was just getting increasingly irritated preparing for this one as I was reading these misleading headlines.
Yeah. I can't even say that I find it irritating as much as I find it like just unbelievable that people print this. And I mean, I don't want to sound too serious, but like a little slightly irresponsible because, you know, you and I are in the business to help people be healthier. And so when you read some of this stuff, you're like, really? Like they can get away with that? It just seems crazy to me.
Let's be charitable. Let's just say that they are suffering.
You're nicer than I am.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. They're suffering from motivated reasoning, which is, well, you know, it does show this, even if it flies in the face of everything else. And, you know, they're up against, the media is up against, should we put out another headline of something that's said like all the time, or should we latch onto this controversial one, which will get more eyeballs?
Right.
To read.
Well, and I think that's just it is that all of this stuff is about getting clicks. So you click on it.
Yes.
And then you're going down the rabbit hole. And I think what I want our members and our listeners to know is that if it seems too good to be true, chances are it probably is. So yes. Just like, you know, we can have fun with this, but at the same time, I think the message is there's so many people out there trying to sell something to you or yes. Telling you something that's, you know, the magic elixir. So just be cautious of that because it's all clickbait, isn't it?
Yeah. Another way to say that, exactly your point, but just to say in a different way, is if you're reading something that has this provocative, compelling finding, and it flies in the face of all the other research that's been published up until this point, you need to read it with a serious note of skepticism.
It's 100%. Yeah. So let's like have that be the foundation by which we have fun with this podcast.
Yes. So, all right. So I guess my opening question of you is not really that relevant since you were so even-tempered reading these misleading headlines, because I'm sitting there getting irritated and I was going to ask you what makes a news story go from misleading to crossing over the boundary to just being irritating. So that I was thinking about that. So if you're not irritated by them as much as I am, you're a better person than me. I think we know that.
Well, what do you think is irritating about them?
I thought about it since I was going to ask you this question. So it was, okay, there's almost like innocent mistakes. And I would even put some of the motivated reasoning stuff in there.
Yeah.
There's just the, you know, a lot of things are complicated. And it's really hard to capture nuance in a headline. So those to me are the innocent mistakes where you just can't capture every facet of a particular story in a headline. And you are trying to, again, get the eyeballs. To me, and it's all about me and Bill and you, it's right. When a headline creates so much work that you have to undo in the spirit of helping people to make lifestyle changes.
Yes. Okay.
And it's, you know, and it doesn't need to be, you know, you could, when someone's doing well, they can read a headline, you know, pretty empirically and say, yeah, that doesn't really make sense. But if someone's struggling and just up against how hard the work is at times, you don't need a great excuse. You just need one that works for you.
Yeah.
And so, as an example, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
When exercise does more harm than good.
Yeah.
I mean, wasn't there some study that showed that exercise is not all it's cut out to be? And,
Right.
I was about to don my shoes, go out the door. You know
Yeah.
what? You see, you just don't need that much
Yeah.
at times.
Well, I think to your point too, when people struggle with their weight and people struggle with their weight and their weight loss and their health journey, I think these headlines and these false claims kind of prey on the desperation of people and their vulnerability. And that, I guess, is irritating to me. So there you go. Now I'm irritated.
Okay, good. Well, that was my goal.
Um, and I think it also just feeds into people's excuses. And I don't think people, I'll be included, me included, need any help feeding into my excuses, right?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even have to be like the broader one doesn't weigh what they want. It's the throughout the day task of making the next healthy choice amidst so many other choices, so many of which taste so great.
Right.
I mean, we don't need conflicting communications
That's a
about
great point.
what people
That's a
should be
great
doing.
point. People are already confused enough. Their heads are spinning in a circle. Like these are just not helping. Another one on the exercise front that I saw was it said, what is the least amount of exercise I can do to lose weight? What is the least amount of exercise? So
Yes,
this is praying to the person who's like, oh, you mean I can lose weight and I don't have to exercise at all? Well, that's awesome.
of course. And
And in
let's
fact,
let's let's admit again, we mentioned this during our comfort crisis episode, the law of least effort, the principle of least effort. We all have it built into us to find the most efficient ways to do things. So that's a pretty normal response. But to our point, it's the opposite of the thinking that would support making a real difference in your life and in your weight.
right. Yeah, that headline, that one did irritate me, actually.
What is the least, say it again?
What is the least amount of exercise you can do to lose weight? In other words, it's like, not what is the kind of what do I need to do it's what is the least amount. So you don't have to put in any effort to still get the desired outcome, which is weight loss or whatever.
Right.
And that was, I mean, I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but that was from a pretty well-known, reputable,
Researcher,
trusted
public health
public
advocate.
health advocate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The least amount. Well,
Yep. So there you go. That one irritated me.
all right. Well, I'm going to stay committed to being irritated versus depressed. 'Cause that will be more conducive to a better episode if I'm railing as opposed to sobbing. Okay, so that's a good one. And speaking of findings that when they're presented minimally lack nuance, but sometimes they're just flat out contradictory. Even the same news story.
Yeah.
You ready for this one?
Yeah.
This is a great. So you may remember back in 2015, the guidelines around cholesterol started to significantly change. And, for 30 years, we were banged over the head that, all cholesterol is bad and whatnot. So the guidelines were easing up. So this is great. Then for those people who are just listening, you can see us and having our conversation in the visuals on Spotify, FYI. But take a look at these headlines, both from Time Magazine.
That's great.
So you have on the left side, you have cholesterol and now the bad news, which, and then you've got 2 eggs and an unsmiling face with the bacon as the downturned mouth. But then you have a Time Magazine cover where it's cholesterol, the good news.
Oh my gosh.
Already, the average person is confused.
Confusing.
But didn't one article, and then the other one say, so, okay, I'm going to go one level deeper. You ready? Because I looked into the news stories here. So, okay, CBS News, they said, so foods that are still a cause for concern, even though the cholesterol guidelines have been eased up, are those high in saturated fat, such as bacon and other meats, and cheese and other high-fat dairy products. So I'm not sure there's much controversial there. That's CBS. But if you look at ABC,
Uh-oh.
reporting on the exact same story.
Mm.
And for the rest of us, here are some foods that may be back on the menu: eggs, bacon,
Oh God.
which they just said in the other one was off the menu,
Right.
shellfish, okay, good, whole fat dairy, which includes cheese.
Geez, of course.
And
That's the
then you'll
number
be
one on the
happy,
list for everybody.
right? And you'll be happy to know liver is
Mm-hmm.
not. But here you have the same news story with
Mm-hmm.
already a completely contradictory headlines from the same magazine, Time magazine, and now you read the articles, and it's like, well, is bacon on the menu or is it off the menu? Well,
Mm-hmm.
pick the
Right.
article.
I guess it depends on what mood you're in that day.
Right. I'm in kind of an ABC mood, and
Right.
I think I'm going to have a little bacon with my eggs this morning.
Yeah. And I mean, but see, this is why it angers me a little bit
Oh,
because,
good.
well, because I'm not irritated, but just sort of like, like, I think that people struggle so much. And when you see that, it's such a conflicting message that people kind of throw up their hands and they're like, oh, well, I don't know what to do. This is why people struggle so much. I mean, among many other reasons, but the fact is that, do it this way, do it that way, two completely conflicting messages. So people just sort of throw up their hands and they say, oh, well, I don't know what's right. So I'll just do what I've always done.
Yes.
And there's no learning, there's no growth, there's no nothing rooted in science. There's nothing that's really helping people move forward. It's just keeping them kind of stuck. So for me, I guess I do get angry.
Yeah, it's very hard. Here's a couple of things I always appreciated, just in total layperson's reading of the neuroscience. The one is, I think we all know this intuitively, first impressions are very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So as it relates to headlines, and this is what the science basically boils down to, is people remember the first headline that they saw on an issue, and they don't. Not only does a headline not get at the details or the nuances, people aren't very good at remembering details. We're very good at remembering the gist,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Bacon, good. Oh, I'm never going to forget that. Another sort of follow-up study, which is fascinating, and again, there's research on this, even when subsequent science, which is reported, debunks the initial headline, it does very little to undo that first impression.
Yeah. I
The
think
stickiness to the headline.
yeah. And people really believe or hear it the way they want to hear it. They make it work for where they're at in the process. So if that headline is going to serve you well for where you are, you know what I mean? It's so people hear what they want to hear, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well,
Whether it's true or not.
isn't that social media in general, like just the siloed? So now you
Yeah.
go into the whatever room you're in where it's the bacon lovers room, and now you're hearing other bacon lovers talk about that same study. So just the flat out repetition of hearing the same messaging, that's actually a cognitive bias too. That's will be my last cognitive bias, the illusion of truth, where just the more someone hears anything,
Right.
the more likely they are to believe it's true, because the more you hear it, you go, oh yeah, I heard that before. And then they conflate familiarity with accuracy. Like,
Yeah.
oh, well, it's gotta be true. Now this guy's telling me. So
Even if they listen to something that's goes against it and is rooted in science and seems that you just don't even believe it. You're like, no.
yes,
So it's really interesting how that can happen. So it can be a problem for people.
100%. I'll show one more quick visual here. Do you know I will say the nutrition science around fat has definitely evolved, right? Now, there was a point in time when it was all fat is bad for you, period.
Right.
Kind of fueled the snack wells phenomenon.
Yep.
Not worrying about sugar. So as we've become more sophisticated and knowing there are different types of fat, some are not good for you, and some are actually have a cardioprotective effect. You ready for one last time headline?
Mm-hmm.
Talk about, I think, getting the message wrong. You can tell me what you think. And by the way, the simplicity of this one will just appeal emotionally to everybody.
Okay.
Read the headline, okay? Because it's just 2 words.
Eat butter.
Eat butter.
I remember when that came out.
Eat butter.
Yeah.
Time magazine. It can't be wrong. It's Time magazine.
Right, exactly. Do
Just
you
eat
pick that up and just like me, just shake your head? That's what I do. I pick these up and I'm like, are you kidding me? Really? That's what I do. I don't know what you do. That's what I do.
I'm going to give everyone that we both, and Bill as well, work with credit and say this one I can just laugh at
Yeah.
because I'm not so sure we're going to need to spend too much time debunking the health benefits of butter.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's crazy.
Uh,
It's crazy. I have to share this one with you. This came through my email. You know, I sometimes you just get these like junk emails. And again, it's all clickbait. And a lot of times I delete them, but this one for some reason I didn't. It says Simple Promise is searching. This isn't really a headline, but it was definitely a headline email. It says Simple Promise is searching for individuals to try out their groundbreaking new weight loss electrolyte powder.
mm.
Just one scoop a day helps your body melt 720% more fat. Some say it's better than Ozempic. That's another big headline.
Yeah.
Better than Ozempic. That's
Wow.
a big one that gets a lot
Could
of
you please read the FDA approved cautionary note about not having too many scoops of that product? I'm sure there's evidence that if it's dangerous because you lose all of your body fat.
Yeah. Wait, and then it says try the most effective fizzy fat loss soda. That's what this product is that helps you lose up to 77 pounds in 4 weeks.
I'm just shaking my. So, okay, average uneducated consumer in this area. It's like, well, that seems extreme, but I do like carbonation. So, and that might just be enough to let's
Simple
just look
enough.
into it.
It's better than Ozempic.
Better
Seems
than
simple enough.
Ozempic. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so that one really, I mean, it's not really a headline, but the headline, I guess, is what they're going to remember, to your point, is it's better than Ozempic. And then, so yeah. So I've gotten a few of those in my inbox that grind my gears a little.
Let me give you another one. So I actually want to come back to the one I mentioned already because this was a real headline. When exercise does more harm than good.
Yeah.
This one bummed me out. And then other agencies reporting the same study. Fast running is as deadly as sitting on the couch. Scientists.
Come on.
Yeah, no, I'm literally reading verbatim.
See, these are headlines that,
The headlines.
again, they're going to appeal to that person who's struggling to exercise anyway.
Yes. So, you look into the study, very small study, but again, I mean, this is one of the reasons the principle of charity again, why I'm going to say Dr. Oz went so far off the rails because he started really some pretty esoteric, crazy stuff towards the end there. But, let's do another episode of the benefits of salmon and broccoli. I mean,
Right.
big yawn.
Right.
What if
Exactly.
salmon's bad for you? No, that's the story I might be interested in. But
Right.
you get my point.
Yeah.
So small study, but controversial finding. So of course it gets so much press as opposed to 30,000th study has found that exercise is good for you, right? So anyway, I looked into, right after this, there was a meta-analysis basically addressing this issue, exercise at the extremes. So I'm going to just show you, and I will put it up on the visual for people who are watching. This was the summary. Now, this is a meta-analysis, and it's the health effects of exercise. So maybe you can just describe, this is going to be a very familiar graph that you'll see here, because they all chart this way. So this is the summary. So the y-axis is health risk, cardiovascular risk, and going from no exercise all the way up to high.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe the drop in risk here?
I mean, it's pretty amazing, actually.
It's like falling off a cliff.
Falling off a cliff. Yeah, it's like well, not people can't see me if they're listening, but it's straight down and yeah.
It's the left side of the letter U, basically.
Right.
It comes
left
down the minute you start moving your body, your health risk drops precipitously. And then, as you become more of an exerciser, the health benefits drop off, but they still continue, by the way. So two relevant things to our headline, because remember, Gina, when exercise does more harm than good. You know, you're jogging fast. That's as bad as being a complete couch potato. That's what the headline would have you believe. So first of all, in this summary of all the science up until this point, this was 2016, only 3.5% of individuals in this meta-analysis mentioned exceed the exercise volume that was associated with maximal health benefits. Let me repeat that because I jumbled the words. Only 3.5% of individuals included in the meta-analysis mentioned exceed the exercise volume that was associated with maximal health benefits. So an entire sedentary country is hearing that vigorous exercise is as bad for you, if not worse, sitting on the couch. And yet, how many people in these studies, 3.5%,
3.5%. That's
might need to pay
crazy.
attention if that
Yeah.
study has any validity
Right.
whatsoever?
Yeah.
And if I can just literally bang this 6 more inches into the ground, the possibility, this is from the conclusion, the possibility that too much exercise training could produce negative side effects is interesting and worthy of scientific investigation. However, such restraint, they didn't put that in bold.
Yeah.
Overall, the results, even for very active, lifelong endurance athletes, is that the benefits of exercise training outweigh the risks.
Yeah.
Meta-analysis. So,
Yeah.
headlines.
Headlines.
Irritating, misleading, not
Misleading.
productive, counterproductive
Hmm.
headlines.
Hmm. Yeah. And that's, I think, my takeaway. And the message would be that there's a lot of them out there, and they're going to appeal to that part of you that is either looking for an easy way out or has struggled so much that, you're just in that space of feeling like there's no hope. So it's going to appeal to that part of your brain. And we're here to tell you that you got to read between the lines. And, if it seems too good to be true, I always tell my members that usually is.
Yes.
I remember there was a diet that came across my path. Was it the cotton ball diet, or was that
Oh,
a
I remember this one.
thing where you basically
Horrendous.
eat cotton balls?
What is the proposed mechanism by which it fills you up?
Well, I think that you are going to like tangle up your intestines is what's going to happen. But yeah, I don't really know, quite frankly.
I do remember that one and it wasn't a small thing. It was a quick
No.
hit, but very widespread fad this was quite a few
Yeah,
years ago.
crazy. So that stuff, it is misleading, and it is, I mean, I think it's a little irresponsible, but nonetheless, it's out there. And I think we need to make sure people are aware of it. We can laugh at it. It's funny. It's
Mm,
irritating. Eat butter. Really?
mm. You mentioned it's sort of emotionally resonant. It's sort of the same, it's a different issue, but similar to humans are very good at remembering the gist, very bad at remembering the details of things. It's
Mhm.
the same thing with what appeals to us so much on such a visceral level are appeals to emotion. You know, you have one good emotional, let's say you've got two people debating, one really good, powerful emotional anecdote. I don't care how much the guy on the other side has charts and data and graphs and studies. You know what? The first guy, it just felt right.
Yeah.
And I think uh, these media agencies, whatever they are, they're almost not doing their job if they're not trying to have the evocative emotional appeal.
Yeah. I agree.
Because
100%.
again, that's their motivated reasoning. They want people to click on their
Right.
article.
Right. And often there's something that they're trying to sell.
Yeah.
I'm often, and I fall into this too, where I'll read something and I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. And then I start clicking on it, and, you know, someone's trying to sell me something. And it takes a while to figure that one out, you know, because it just all sounds so good. It just
Yeah.
all sounds so good.
Yes.
And those headlines can be appealing, but they can often be very misleading. So yeah, I just think there's a bigger message for people just so that they don't fall into that trap.
So, okay, which ones have we covered of yours? Just a quick recap on the
So
misleading.
mine two favorites are the better than Ozempic
Yes, that's great.
and what is the least amount of exercise
Yes.
that you can
Yes.
do? In other words, don't move. Don't bother moving. Oh, you're fine. Yeah,
A
those
great
are the
one.
two that probably cover both sides of the coin too. You know, your calories in, your calories out. So,
I've got two more rock'em sock'em misleading headlines.
all right.
And was that the end of yours?
Yeah, I have one more food one that's more of a, it's not really a headline. Again, it's an email, but
All right, I've got another headline for you.
okay.
If you're not irritated by this one, then I have some more fundamental questions for you.
No, I'm just calmer than you. No, I'm just kidding.
Carbs are bad for you.
Mm. Mm.
Carbs are bad for you. Okay,
Now
first of all,
you're getting me where it really counts.
yeah, yeah. Now, is this not
Fiber.
this whole headline and the thousand other ones just like it all rest on this fundamental
Mhm.
classification or definitional
Mhm.
mistake or lack of precision in terms of this, which is treating any and all forms of carbs the exact same. I mean, that's kind of the problem behind any of these, right?
Yes, 100%. So the nuance there, and I mean, I just have to say it because it's going to drive me crazy if I don't.
Please.
There's a difference between a refined carbohydrate and, a carbohydrate that is whole, like fruit and vegetable and grains. And I mean, let's not get those confused.
Whole, natural,
Right,
unrefined,
right.
minimally processed.
Minimally processed, not packaged and being stripped away of all its fiber and
That's right.
nutrients.
So, but people would be forgiven because you do have, you've got complex carbohydrates, veggies, you've got simple carbohydrates, which includes fruits too.
Fruit. Yeah.
So right there, you're confused. So, and right there, forget trying to use complex versus simple as
Mhm.
any sort of a classification
Right.
because you're excluding fruits if you try to say that the simple. So it's just again, it's a bunch of red herrings get introduced into to the whole
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah. And it's too much for people too. They're just going to remember the headline. That's
That's
it.
right.
So back to that point, they're just going to remember that headline
Right.
and they don't want all the detail.
That's right.
Yeah. So,
So, just to echo what you said, the best way to look at carbs is whole, natural, unrefined, minimally processed versus processed, or let's just say ultra processed.
yeah.
And even the definition of ultra processed is not perfect because there are some things like yogurt that are in there. So,
Mhm.
you have to really be thinking clearly here. One of the things I think, if we could just say, foods that are very high in salt, sugar, and fat,
Yeah.
and we're talking carbs here, that's where the issue is.
Yeah.
And then it's always interesting, we might pose this to our listeners. Can you name a food in its naturally occurring form that's high in all three of those? The unholy trifecta of salt, sugar, fat. Let me save you some time. You can't.
You can't. Yeah.
The closest you'll get is olives, which have a high fat, good fat
Right.
content, and sodium.
Salt.
But
Yeah.
you lose, yeah, thank you. You lose the sugar. So the point is, it's really the most sophisticated way to look at this is generally processed foods, ultra processed foods versus the naturally occurring, but also then as a little bit of a just to make sure we're not making a mistake, high in salt, sugar, fat,
Mm-hmm.
or some
That's the
combination of
trifecta.
those.
One thing I want to add to this too, because I just think it's helpful for people, and it kind of goes along the same lines, is that sometimes there are fads that come along that people glom onto because they think it's the newest weight loss craze. Like for instance, gluten-free, and they get caught up in, okay, I'm going to go on the gluten-free diet, and that doesn't necessarily mean low calorie. And I've had people make that mistake and they wonder why they're gaining weight because
Mhm.
some of these gluten-free products are very calorie dense and they're only made for people who truly have celiac and just
Yes,
cannot process gluten at all.
right.
And then the other one that goes along with that is vegan food. So
Hmm.
everyone thinks vegans are like, all healthy, but there's processed and packaged vegan food that is way worse for you than others. So just kind of along the same lines, I think those are things for people to be aware of.
I'll widen it. So basically, we're talking health halos. You take
Mm-hmm.
something that's a legitimate descriptor of food and the characteristics of a food that are based in some real medical condition, celiac disease, or even like massively gluten intolerant or something like
Right.
that.
Or sensitive to
So
it. Yeah.
gluten free, and it gets conflated into it's just healthy. So like you say,
Right.
gluten free chips,
Right.
just healthy, 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 and obviously that's a problem food. Non-GMO. I mean,
Yeah.
whatever people's philosophies or ethics are about that, that's not the point. The point is, it will be used, it implies this sense of health and freedom.
Right.
But we can find lots of non GMO foods labeled with that are not going to support your weight management.
Yeah. Exactly.
Even
100%.
all natural. I mean, in
Yeah.
some ways,
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
I mean, wasn't low fat or no fat the
Mhm.
health halo that drove again, the snack wars?
The SnackWell industry. Yeah. Those
Yeah.
are huge.
Yeah. So we have to be cautious about these things.
Yeah. Read between the headlines, read between the lines, and do a little digging, I always tell people.
Yes. I have one more.
Okay.
Saving the best for last.
Oh boy.
Okay, you
Can't
ready?
wait. I am.
True headline. Actual headline.
Oh no.
Veggies and fruits don't lead to weight loss.
Oh, come on. Where do you find these?
I knew I could get you. I knew if I tried hard, I'd get you to come on over to Team Irritated. Oh my goodness.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
veggies and fruits do not lead to weight loss.
Oh, that's
So
terrible.
after I'd finished my blustering look into the study, this was from a few years ago, but so first of all, not all science is of all the same high quality standard, which is unfortunate. But I'm going to just tell you. So what led us to this finding, to the conclusion that fruits and vegetables don't lead to weight loss? Well, it's actually a summary of studies, 7 different studies. Are you ready? I'm going to fire for effect here. Okay, so just respond to any of this. You could take the 7 studies and divide them into 2 categories. The first category is that interventions where the actual intake of fruits and vegetables were not measured.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so what does that mean? So I'll give you an example. So one was a 10-week study where fruits and vegetables were delivered to the home 3
Yep.
times a week. How many fruits and vegetables were delivered? Enough for you to eat a whopping 3 half-cup servings a day.
Oh gosh. Yeah, that's
One and a
crazy.
half servings.
That's not a study. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then the other one was an 8-week study where they delivered enough to eat 2 per day. Some of the group was 4 a day, but it included juice as well.
So the thinking is that to get this headline, it's because the people eating these 2 servings didn't have weight loss.
That's right.
That's ridiculous.
Have you ever, Gina, as virtuous as you are, have you ever thrown out bananas because they had spots and got old? I mean, we all throw out some produce at some
Of
time.
course.
These
Yes.
people who presumably are not fruit and veggie eaters, now they've been dumped onto their doorstep, not that many of them.
Right.
It does not mean they were eating them, nor
Right.
did it mean that it was eating them, were they eating them as part of some concerted, well thought out, methodologically sound approach to weight loss.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Just having some blueberries sitting on the counter does not mean you're going to lose weight. Okay, so that was the first category. So they didn't measure the intake. They just dropped off the foods and not that many of them. I won't bore you with all of it. But the next one is where interventions, why did they include these in the study? I have no idea. Interventions where weight and weight loss were not included as an outcome of interest. What?
That's the this emoji.
It's like what?
What?
So just to give you the paucity of these interventions,
Oh,
the first one, you ready? 2
Yeah.
sessions of education about fruits and veggies. Oh, that's all they need. They
That's
just
it.
need to learn more.
That's it.
Yeah. Wow, really?
all
They're
it
good for you? I never knew that.
Yeah.
Education about fruits and vegetables, 2 sessions, knowledge, with all of its inherent limitations. with a follow-up 7 weeks later. How on earth did these people not lose weight?
7 weeks later.
Two, two educational sessions and then a follow-up 7 weeks later. I'll give you one last
It's
one.
almost as if they wanted the study to fail so they could come up with the
Honestly,
headline.
I mean, aren't there better? So, last one, I'm having fun with it, but you can't turn me off now. So, again, interventions where weight was not stated as an outcome of interest.
Yeah.
A single one brief negotiation method, whatever that means, interaction to increase fruits and vegetables to more than 5 a day, with a follow-up call 2 weeks later. Oh, but don't worry. A letter and a seasonal recipe book was sent 3 months later.
What?
I'm not making it up. How could I be making this up?
That is
I'm
crazy.
reading this and I'm like, of course no one lost weight on the fruits and vegetables for all
Right.
the reasons that we're detailing.
Yeah.
So anyway,
That's they going
yeah,
exploding.
so that's why I was getting, oh, so I should just say, if you do look at high quality studies, and we have presented this in our programs, I would just read from a quote unquote comprehensive critical assessment on fruits and vegetables. And here it is, verbatim. Consistent evidence from prospective studies, high quality studies, and randomized controls trials,
That's what you want.
that's
Randomized
the
control.
gold standard, shows that increased intake of fruits and vegetables is a chief contributor to successful weight loss in women. Now, I'm assuming, I mean, you're not going to find it for women, but not men. So I'm
Men, yeah,
thinking
yeah,
they were looking
please.
at females for some reason.
Right.
But there it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. So in case anybody's getting any ideas after they listen to this, don't.
Read a
That's-
pamphlet or two.
Yeah.
Have someone follow up with you 8 weeks later. You should be good.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are our headlines. And you know, we could keep going, but I think we've kind of made the point. I think you keep reminding me and all of our other podcasts. Let's make sure we've got some practical takeaways. So feel free to round any of these out. But I'm going to suggest a couple of these three. First one, broadly, view headlines critically. Understand that there are nuances in all studies, and it's very difficult to cram them into a headline. And also understand our biases. You know, we want to believe things that are too good to be true. We really do. And if it's in print, we have a natural tendency to take it at face value.
Yeah.
My second one is I said this right up front, but when it's a controversial headline, well, how does this weigh up relative to the body of evidence? What does the scientific consensus say on a
Right.
particular issue?
Not just this one little study. Yeah.
Yes. I'll always remember, I think it was Stephen Colbert. He was talking about climate science, and he had, let's just look at, so global warming is man-made, it's not. And then he had 99 people in white lab coats come out and stand on to one side, and they had one guy with a lab coat on the other side.
Yeah.
And he says it's called the false equivalence bias. Like, well, it's equal. It's both sides to the story. Well, not really. If you've got the preponderance of evidence is in favor of one thing, which is what our programs are based on, evidence based. Let's take these headlines with a little bit more of a grain of salt. And then the last one, kind of a nuance here: be open to new findings. Didn't we just say that about the dietary fat? Our thinking has evolved there.
Well, I think that, science changes and it should evolve and it should change. I mean, that's a good thing. We want that. So yeah, you got to be open to that and I always just say, read beyond the headline, because the headlines are meant to do one thing and one thing only: get you interested, get you to click. And they definitely can speak to the emotional or even vulnerable parts of you, and do a little digging.
Yes.
And I think you want randomized, controlled, peer-reviewed studies, so you want something that's got some substance to it, not just, something where people ate 2 vegetables and fruit. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I think we're on the same page with that. Read between the lines, the headlines.
Absolutely. And if you're not, you're going to become a victim or certainly, overly influenced by some headlines that aren't in your best interest, I will leave you with one final headline. This can be how we end our discussion.
Oh no.
If you're not reading the headlines critically, you may buy into headlines like this. Time magazine.
Eating may not be good for you.
Eating
Come
may
on.
not be good for you. I'm not making this up. This was the headline.
Time comes out with some goodies.
Time. I mean, I do like Time magazine, but they get some doozies here.
There's some doozies.
No, I don't know, Gina. I read it. Eating may not be good for you.
Just stop eating.
I think you need to just flat out stop eating all food. Sometimes it's easier to just cut the cord.
Just done. Nope, not eating anymore. Oh, no, I'm not eating anymore. Sorry, I can't come to the party because I'm just not eating anymore.
Yes, right.
Just Time magazine said it
Oh,
was
you
bad
too?
for me.
I'm not eating anymore either. Oh, I'm so glad that you're on the bandwagon with me. Great.
I wonder why everyone's fainting. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, I enjoyed this. I hope I didn't mean to have us endings laughing because I wanted to make sure it was real clear that I brought you over to the irritated side of things. You gonna be able to recover today?
I think you accomplished your task. I don't know. It might be tough. I might have to take a nap.
Yes. Okay. That sounds good. All right. Thanks for the conversation.
All right. Bye.
Bye.